and hello to YouTube. We are going to finish Aviary Attorney tonight. Here we go. Act 4C. Let us begin. And then, while we were sitting in the tavern, Falcon gave me the opportunity to escape. He created a distraction, and I sneaked away and went straight to the police. Then you called a meeting, and, well, here I am. So, yeah, that's the whole story. I believe this was the tail end of the last part, but little reiterations, not bad. I see. So Severin Kokoriko's died at the hands of the rebels. That's right. And Falcon revealed his true colors as a traitor. Traitor? No, that's not right, Inspector. Falcon's not a rebel. He's just playing along so he can save his own life. Don't be so naive, Sparrowson. Put the puzzle pieces together. Falcon willingly leapt into the lion's den for the specific purpose of siding with the rebels. He let you escape because he could see that you weren't truly sympathetic to the rebel cause. That doesn't make sense at all. Falcon's never shown a rebellious streak. Tell me, Sparrowson, what do you know about Falcon's past? Not a lot. He's a private person. Has he ever told you what he did during the July Revolution? Before he changed his name? No, he hasn't told me anything. Really. Sparrowson, let me tell you about the man they call the Viridian Killer. Oh my. Alright. New things now. Let's see what's going on at the Palais Royal. The Palais Royal. Just look at that disgusting den of fat cat bourgeois and hypocritical politicians. Blah, 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 blah. The king is probably in there as we speak. Probably sitting in his high chair, stuffing his bloated face with cake and wine, while he boasts about being the perfect citizen king. Blah. Did you come here just to moan about the king? No, I came to assess the potential battleground. On the day of the rebellion, I met Ora Piero to set up a barricade over there. What do you think? There? Right outside the Palais Royal? Of course. It's the perfect place for a defensive garrison. We can gather furniture from nearby buildings, build a wall, and position rifles to fend off the police. When the time is right, it will serve as the ideal location to launch our assault on the palace. So you weren't just throwing empty words in the tavern. You actually do intend on dragging the king out of the palace through violence. Of course. He will never abdicate on his own volition. It's not as if I want to see bloodshed, Falcon. It's necessary. It's inevitable. I mean, we have to be realistic. There's no way to bring change to a country without using violence, is there? I think there are ways. People look back on the violent moments of history. The executions, the wars, the bloody revolutions. But who's to say that a country could not be overturned just through the chance of the people? A pacifist revolution. Blah. Interesting. I would love for such a thing to be possible. Maybe it would be better to avoid building the barricades. At least until it's clear that violence is inevitable. That's good. That's a good compromise, madame. A new day. Let's have. This halal, huh? Let me guess. You have a weapons supplier somewhere around here. Or maybe this is where you plan on meeting an informant, a government defector? It is as good a meeting spot as any. Actually, I'm here for groceries. There's no need for that look. You think that just because I'm a gun-toting rebel, I don't need to buy food? Mambomo. They're British now. I forgot what their voices were. Well, if it isn't Sultan and Little Gambed. You're growing bigger every time I see you. Ma'am, you have to hear this. Something big went down here yesterday. A policeman. A nasty, ugly policeman. Let me guess, he was bullying people into revealing secrets on the whereabouts of the revolutionaries. Well, that's how it started, ma'am. Same old bullying tactics. He was pushing round this old beggar rat who hangs around the market sometimes. But then when the rat wasn't speaking up, the policeman drew his gun and shot him. The policeman shot the beggar? Just like that? Yep. Then the coward cop went and ran before we could turn on him. I find this difficult to believe. A policeman wouldn't openly shoot a beggar without just cause. Open your eyes, Falcon. This is the regime Parisians live under. We are ignored by the government, oppressed by the police, and hanged by the courts. Why do you think I'm fighting so hard to make a change? We can't put up with this sort of bullying. No, this can't be right. Something has to be missing from Sultan's story. Do you mind if I ask you a couple questions, madame? Sure, ask away. Make it quick, Falcon. What do the policemen look like? Well, I didn't get a good look, but he was tall and ugly and mean looking, and he had one eye. One eye? Yep, had one of them pirate patches. There's no way. Ring any bells, Falcon? I know a man who fits the description, but it simply couldn't be him. He's a bitter individual, but he's morally righteous. I can't imagine him shooting an innocent person so recklessly. Don't let your bias towards the justice system affect your judgment, Falcon. If you think you know who did this, then please name and shame him. I think I should bite my tongue until I'm a little more certain. Did you want to know anything else, monsieur? If a policeman did shoot an innocent person, then surely there would be an investigation. Ah, your naivety knows no bounds, Falcon. You think the police care if one of their own is out of control? Actually, there was one bloke asking around, but I don't think he was a policeman. Oh? Oh, go on, madame. Well, he was this charming fox. Renard. A friend of yours, Falcon? Whoops. Something like that. We should probably pay him a visit to see what he's up to. Pay him a visit? I suppose we can set aside a little time. Did you want something else? Just who is this beggar rat? I don't really know him well, monsieur. None of us did. He was kind of a loner who hanged around asking for scraps of food and cents. I don't even know his name. That's so sad. Did he have no family, no means of support? Falcon, do you have any idea how many beggars there are on the streets of Paris? How many people go hungry? How many people are forced to turn their crime? I'm well aware, madame. I'm asking these questions to see if there was perhaps some reason why this particular rat was killed. But no, it appears that this was just the loss of an unnamed beggar rat, among many. Sorry about that. It's tragic. That is, monsieur. Is there any other way I can help? That's all, madame. Thanks for all your help. No problem. Anything to help Mamba more. We'll try to get to the bottom of this, Satan. Just make sure to stay safe when the revolution starts. Stay inside. Keep Gumbad safe. Of course, ma'am. You stay safe yourself, you hear? Let's go talk to the fox. Visitors! Mr. Vulpes, visitors! Wheeler Falcon, what do we hope to accomplish in this sleazy back alley establishment? Sleazy. Madame, my back alley office is perhaps a little cluttered and eclectic, but I resent the accusation of sleaze. Maybe I should do the introductions. Monsieur Vulpes, this is Madame Beaumont, a, friend of mine. Madame, this is Renard Vulpes, private investigator, at your service. It is a pleasure to meet you, Madame. Ah, how stoic. I am sure you have some pressing question to ask Falcon, but before we get started, there's something I must tell you. Monsieur Sparrowson dropped by earlier. He informed me of your situation. Sparrowson? Is he alright? Oh yes, he's now working with Inspector Valerti, attempting to unravel the rebel plot. Just as I thought, it appears that your lackey has solidified his position as a traitor to the Second Republic, Falcon. Perhaps, perhaps not. Sparrowson doesn't strike me as a person who sides with any ideology. But, you know, he asked me the most peculiar question. Would you like to know what it is? Of course. Such information is quite valuable. It would cost, say, 30 francs. Fine. Yeah, I know how this works. Here's your money, monsieur. Very good. So, on to the question. Sparrowson asked if you were the Viridian killer. The one responsible for random bombings during the July Revolution 18 years ago. Why on earth would he ask that? Perhaps the inspector had been telling him stories. So what did you tell him? The truth, of course. That is, that I have no idea who the Viridian killer is, but I knew that it couldn't possibly be Falcon. Oh? And how do you know that I'm not the Viridian killer? Heh, Falcon, please. You're a semi-drunk bumbling oaf, not a ruthless killer. Anyway, I've started my own investigation into the Viridian killer. It's fascinating stuff. Apparently, he was seen in multiple places at once, which leads some to believe that he was actually more than one person. Huh. And do you know why they call him, or should I say them, the Viridian Killer? Viridian is a greenish color, isn't it? No, I don't have a clue. Crimson Killer would be a much cooler name. It appears that no one knows the origins of the name, which leads me to suspect that he, or indeed they, chose their own name. This is all fascinating, truly fascinating, but perhaps we can return the conversation to why we're here. Of course, Monsieur Vulpes. We heard that you were investigating the murder at Les Halls. I was. The victim was a friend of Mousie's. More of an acquaintance, really. Well, we want to know if you managed to uncover anything. Did you find any leads, any juicy clues? Not as such. It's quite a peculiar case. Did you hear that the murderer wore an eye patch? I did. You know what that implies, don't you, Falcon? You know of one police officer, or indeed one person, who wears an eye patch. There he is. The inspector. But that can't be right. You wouldn't describe him as a murderous man, would you, Monsieur Vulpes? Murderous? Murderous? I don't know. He's certainly passionate about finding the Viridian killer. Who's to say he wouldn't kill in the pursuit of his archenemy? Falcon, I want to solve this mystery as much as you do, but time is pressing and we have other matters to attend to. We must take our leave. Understood. Until next time, Monsieur Vulpes. Goodbye, and good luck, Monsieur Falcon. It was a pleasure meeting you, Madame. Monsieur Vulpes. That lioness looked pretty angry. Is this revolution going to end in blood, Monsieur Vulpes? Just like in 1830? Ooh, he thinks it is. To the garden. Let me think. So it takes 10 minutes to walk from the Place de la Concorde to this very spot. And the Palais Royal lies 5 minutes north of here. The crowd will be fairly large and slow and may take twice, maybe 3 times as long to make the move. Having a logistics problem, madame? Perhaps. The plan is to walk the crowd from here through Tarara to the Palais Royal. But if we take too long to pass through the Tuileries, the police will trap us in. If we could be flanked and slaughtered. That is quite an issue. Why not just get the protesters to meet at the Palais Royal itself? Because the Place de la Concorde is an ideal meeting location. It's enormous and easy to get to. I see. But even if you got, say, half the protesters to meet you at the Palais Royal, you would cut down on traveling time. I get it, a smaller crowd would be easier to direct across the garden. I'll pass the idea along to Pierrot and see what he has to say. He's the one in charge of leading the crowds, after all. That bird-brained parrot would probably just shoot the idea down, right? Probably, but I appreciate your input. I don't know if you genuinely want to help, or if you're just telling me what I want to hear out of fear. But, thank you, Falcon. It's no problem, madame. For the Second Republic, right? Right, for the Second Republic. Well, that was a quick day. Now we get to go to the Pont des Arts. This is it, Falcon. This is the day we make our stand. Oh boy. Everything is coming together. As we speak, Fontaine is gathering the protesters at the Place de la Concorde. Pierrot is making preparations to build and arm a barricade near the Palais Royal, just as a precaution, you understand. The only question that remains is, are you ready? Yeah, I guess so. Absolutely. Bring on the revolution, I say. That's the spirit. Come on, let's see how the protest is going. Falcon and Beaumont arrive at the Place de la Concorde. The air is thick with the chants, shouts, and cheers of hundreds of protesters. A line of mounted soldiers stand shoulder to shoulder outside the entrance to Tuileries. This is amazing. I had no idea the Second Republic had this many supporters. But of course, you didn't think that we were just a few animals huddling in a cave, did you? The desire for revolution runs deep in the city. Everything's in place at the Palais Royal, ma'am. Just say the word and we'll set up the biggest barricade you've ever seen. Then we can all storm the building and drag that Cookie King out of his chair. There's been a change of plan. We're still going to protest, but we're going to do it peacefully. No firing from behind barricades, No violence. No capturing the king or prime minister. Madame, are you feeling all right? Quite all right, thank you. What of your desire for a better France? You cannot achieve that without bloodshed. We can certainly try. Falcon, convince me. Falcon. Pacifism seems like the Christian approach, wouldn't you say, Friar? I see. So that's how it is. Excuse me, madame. Yeah, he don't care about that. I think the friar disapproves of the new strategy. He probably thinks I've gone soft, and maybe I have. But I'm not deviating from this path, even if each and every rebel leaves my side. Don't worry, ma'am. You aren't alone. We're not here for violence, madame. As long as you strive for a better France, we'll always stand with you. Hooray. This stupid bullet wound. The damn thing's opened up again. What's the news, brother? Is everything in place? We have a problem. The mademoiselle refuses to use violence. She's turned timid. Turned timid? How? It appears that the lawyer, Falcon, is something of a lion tamer. J.J. Falcon, that bird is proving to be more trouble than the rooster, I swear. Brother, listen. If there's no violence, then there will be no power gap. One leader will just peacefully replace another. We need chaos for our plan to work. Guess we'll have to follow through with our contingency strategy. I'll find the victim, you find the suspect. Don't push yourself, brother. You're still injured. Oh my. Look at those scum. Fell vermin, the lot of them. Mark my words, Sparrowson. Every one of these petulant dissenters will take the first opportunity to turn aggressive. They lust for violence. They don't look too violent to me. Trust me, this is just how the crowd looked before the July Revolution. It only takes one crazed individual, and the entire crowd will explode into a frenzy. Hey, it's you. Friar, it's good to see you again. No time for pleasantries, Inspector. You're needed urgently on the Place de la Concorde. Me? Why not ask one of the officers on active guard duty? There's no time to explain. Any minute now. Ah, do you hear that gunshot? It's already begun. Come, Inspector. We must make haste. These damn wolves, man. Inspector, I really don't think you should be trusting this friar. He's a two-faced wolf. Frau Ramos has provided me with reliable information in the past. I trust his judgment. But, Inspector, this isn't up for discussion, Sparrowson. I have a duty to uphold. Stay put. I'll be back in no time at all. But, what should I do now? A gunshot. It was nearby, too. So that a friar was right. Violence really is an inevitability. We haven't reached that stage yet, madame. I can't afford to take chances. Not now. Piero, march the crowd to the Palais Royal and construct the barricade. Yes, ma'am. Fontaine, Falcon, we're going to find the source of this disturbance. It came from here, Inspector. Hurry, hurry. I'm moving as fast as these old legs will. Mon Dieu, a body. This woman must have been the target of the gunshot we just heard, but I don't see a shooter.
I think the gunshot came from over here. Inspector.
Falcon. Well, I should have known the Viridian killer would have had a part in this.
Inspector, I'm not...
What do we have here? A filthy cop and a dead girl.
Madame, thank goodness you're here. I saw the whole thing. The poor innocent mademoiselle was approaching the police line with her hands in the air, when all of a sudden this brute of a police inspector yelled, "Get back, you filthy rebel!" He drew his gun and shot the bird point blank through her heart.
What is this nonsense? What are you prattling on about, friar? Thank you for your input, Remus. It hardly surprises me that a member of the police would be the one to cast the first stone.
I think we're all being a little rash. Let's just take a breath, examine the situation, and...
Wait a moment. You wear an eye patch. You only have one eye, Inspector. How observant. Tell me, were you the policeman who killed the rat at Les Halles too?
Les Halles?
What are you talking about? 2 incidents of a one-eyed policeman gunning down an innocent victim? There's no way that is a coincidence. What we have here is a filthy, corrupt individual who takes pleasure in oppressing the common citizen. Am I right, Inspector? I really shouldn't be surprised that a stupid rebel makes stupid assumptions and comes to stupid conclusions. But open your damned eyes, mademoiselle. I'm not the assailant here. Don't call me mademoiselle, or stupid for that matter. Your guilt is plain to see. Given the circumstances, I ought to judge and execute you right here and now. Falcon, don't just stand there gawking. Vouch for me.
Madame, I know this man. His name is Inspector Valerty. He is ruthlessly law-abiding, so much so that I can't envision him shooting a man without just cause.
Oh, shut up, Falcon. I'm done with your idealism. I listened to you. I took your words to heart about avoiding violence, and now a girl is dead. Well, I'm done taking chances. Remus, help me escort this invalid to Pierrot's barricade. I'll decide his fate there. With pleasure, madame. Come along, Inspector. Fontaine, Falcon, deal with the corpse. Meet us at the barricade when you're done.
There's no way this was the work of the police. You know what, Falcon? I think you might be right. An isolated gunshot? This far away from the police line? It doesn't make any sense at all. But that's rebellions for you. They're messy affairs. Sometimes innocents get caught in the crossfire, and there's no reason for it. Well, there's no use dawdling. Help me get the corpse off the streets. Not yet. I'm going to examine the body first. Examine the body? We agreed that this wasn't the work of Inspector Valerty, right? Then there might be some clues on the corpse that point towards what happened. An improper coroner's examination, eh? Fine. You have 2 minutes. After that, we're heading to the barricade, whether you're done here or not. Oh boy. What's this mark? It almost looks like a handprint made in blood. Probably the mademoiselle's. I don't think so. It's the handprint of a left hand on the girl's left shoulder. There's no way a person could comfortably reach that spot on their own back. I suppose so, but if the handprint doesn't belong to the girl, then who does it belong to? The murderer. It has to be. The question on my mind is, why the handprint made in blood? Did the murderer sully their hand on the girl's gunshot wound, or were they injured prior to the shooting? There's so much to uncover here, and no time for thorough investigation. This is the bullet wound, right? What can you tell me about it, Fontaine? Well, it looks like the bullet took a fairly straight angle of entry through the mademoiselle's back. The shooter was probably standing right behind the victim. What's the bullet's size? You know, its caliber. Let me guess. You're hoping that the caliber of the bullet is different to the caliber of the inspector's gun. That would conveniently get that one-eyed police officer off the hook, wouldn't it? But I'm afraid I can't help you. I couldn't possibly know a bullet's caliber without having a good look at the bullet itself. And as you can plainly see, the bullet is 3 centimeters deep in flesh. So, you need to see the bullet itself. Help me retrieve the bullet, Fontaine. Retrieve? You mean dig it out? I assume you have a little more experience in this area than I do. Well, you're not wrong there. Fine. This will only take a moment. Don't I still have the thing that does that, though? Is that not a thing? Here you go. One used bullet. Looks like a standard lead rifle or pistol bolt. But I'm afraid I cannot tell you its caliber. Why's that? The bullet fragmented upon impact, monsieur. I gathered all the pieces, but I cannot assess its diameter with any accuracy. Still, I would guess that it was 13 to 17 millimeters. Sorry, I can't be more specific. That's an enormous help. Thank you, monsieur. Neat. Alright, what else we got? Everyone's been so fixated on who did this that nobody stopped to ask who this girl was. I don't know, monsieur. Given her clothes, she's probably just another working girl. Just another? I didn't mean to sound glib, but it's true. This one is one mademoiselle among many thousands who live in Paris. Who was she? How was she? Where'd she work? Will her family miss her? I don't know, but in the long run, I don't think anybody will care. I care. I can't afford not to. I don't know who this mademoiselle was, but I'm going to see to it that justice is brought about for her death. It's a long shot, but maybe this girl is faking her injury. Just for the sake of thoroughness, I really ought to check for a pulse. Right. No, nothing. Anything else? I'm done here. Very good. Let's move this body off the street, then we must hurry to the Palais Royal. Rest in peace, mademoiselle. I'll see to it that justice is done. Everything is going just as planned. The madame's probably fuming right now. She'll attack the Palais Royal. The Prime Minister will flee, and then... Excuse me, monsieur. What do you want? What do you want? I'm busy. Don't you recognize me, monsieur? I know that my disguises are a little more complex than yours, but I assumed you would recognize Prince Juan when you saw him. You're Prince Juan? Indeed, and you're Judge Romulus, the corrupt wolf. I know what you did. You tried to assassinate the king, you shot the crook, monsieur, and just moments ago I saw you murder a maiden at the Palais de la Concorde. You're truly a vile individual, aren't you? Yeah. As if you have any proof for that, any of that stuff. I'm out of here. I also know that you're one half of the Verdine killer. Well, of course, that makes sense.
On any other day, I would gut you where you stand, Fox. But as it happens, I'm a little busy today. Oh, the Viridian killer is too busy for me, or to kill me? Is that the truth, or is that the bullet wound of yours starting to affect your prowess? You must have lost an awful lot of blood.
What do I do? What do I do? Oh, hello, Monsieur Vulpes.
Ah, Monsieur Sparrowson. Perfect timing. Who now? Oh, you're that fledgling. I guess this is what they call being stuck between a rock and a hard place, huh? Monsieur Sparrowson, be a dear and help me restrain the Viridian killer.
This guy? He's the Viridian killer? He looks more like Judge Romulus to me.
Well, you would be right about that too.
Wow. So he's two scumbags in one. Alright then.
Oh, mind the wound.
Quit your whining, Your Honor.
Very nice takedowns, Monsieur Sparrowson. You may want to check his pockets for weapons. He is something of a notorious killer after all.
Of course. Let's see what we've got here. Aha, here we are.
A pistol, probably the one used to kill the maiden, I suspect. What else can you find, Monsieur Sparrowson?
This. An eye patch? Weird. What would this wolf want with an eye patch?
Oh no, this is bad. Very bad indeed.
I don't get it. What's wrong with an eye patch?
There's no time to explain. Masse!
What is that, Monsieur Vulpes? What is it?
Take this eye patch to DJ Falcon. If my fears are correct, he'll be somewhere around the Palais Royal right now. Tell him this belongs to Remus's brother. Hurry now.
Right away, Mr. Vulpes, right away.
I must go too. I need to find the other half of the Viridian killer pair before something terrible happens.
Wait, Mr. Vulpes. What am I supposed to do with this guy?
If you have his gun, don't you? March that wolf to the nearest police station and collect your reward for capturing Judge Romulus.
What a strange day. Outside the Palais Royal, the rebels have constructed a makeshift barricade out of furniture, branches, rocks, and anything else they can find. From behind the wall, the rebels taunt the police and royal guards with chants.
I'm growing impatient, pig. Confess your crimes. I have nothing to confess, you filthy rebel. You and your rebel friends, however, should confess to 1,000 counts of treason and public disorder. I will see each day and every one of you, or I see each and every one of you hanged for your flagrant disregard of the law.
I don't know where I got the word day from.
Your stubborn attitude is disgusting. A few days ago, you were seen at Les Halles. Witnesses saw you murder a beggar in cold blood. Today, a friar has testified to seeing you murder a girl. Again, completely unprovoked. I don't know why you continue to plead your innocence. But it doesn't matter. I don't need a confession to know that you're a killer.
Madame Beaumont, stop. The inspector didn't shoot that mademoiselle.
Keep your beak closed, Falcon. I'm done listening to your suggestions. This policeman is as guilty as every other monster in our decrepit justice system. It's my duty to execute him.
Madame Falcon has uncovered some pretty convincing evidence. I would recommend that you hear him out. Please, just give me 5 minutes. 5 minutes, and I can convince you of this inspector's innocence.
5 minutes is precious in a time like this. I can't afford it.
What if you're wrong? Are you willing to see another dead innocent? Thank you, madame.
Having my life saved by the Viridian killer. How humiliating. Quiet, pig. Your life is mine until I say otherwise.
Okay, so first of all, let's recap what Friar Remus had to say. Wait, where is that friar? He's a key witness to this crime.
He scarpered as soon as he dropped the inspector off. Said he had some business to attend to.
Business? Oh, shit. Man, oh man, these barricades are pretty scary, looking pretty scary. But I mustn't fear, for I am a brave duck. I am the great Officer Beck, handsome, intelligent, strong, truly a fearless hero who will be remembered for...
Hello, officer.
Ah, you scared me, monsieur. Monk?
Friar, actually. Friar Remus. Listen, officer. I have something of great importance to tell you. I was just passing by the rebel camp and I overheard a conversation.
Oh, this sounds good. Do go on.
They said they were going to launch an assault very soon, and when they do, they're going to rain hellfire on the palace.
Oh no. It's just as I feared. What'll we do? I forgot about the puns.
It's simple, officer. As soon as you hear the first gunshot, you need to retaliate. Hit them with everything you've got. Every cannon, every rifle, every piece of artillery. Don't leave a single piece of the barricade remaining. That is the only way you can be sure to survive.
Ah, total annihilation. I like it. But Fry, I'm confused. Aren't you a Christian?
Yes, so what?
I don't know. It's just that your ideas don't seem very Christian-y.
Ah, I see. You think this is a moral issue. Let me tell you a secret, my dearest duck friend. There is no God, no overarching morality or higher plan, no heaven to save the righteous or hell to punish the sinners. There is only you, your artillery, and 10,000 rebels who want to dine on Peking duck tonight. Understand?
That's an awful lot to take in.
Then let me simplify. It's you or them.
It's me or them.
Shit.
That's not good.
Forget about the friar, fucking. We all remember what he had to say. Present your case based on what you can recall.
Okay, I will.
But you may want to wipe that mouse off your shoulder first.
Sorry, wipe what? Oh, it's you, Mousy. Monsieur Falcon, special delivery from Renard Vulpus. Thank you, Mousy. What is this? An eye patch. It was found in Ramus's brother's clothing. Ramus's brother's... This is an eye patch belonging to Judge Romulus? That's interesting. Where is Romulus? There's no time, monsieur. Just take it. Take it. I have to run, monsieur. But you have to do your best. Monsieur Vulpus and Sparrowson believe in you. Sparrowson? You've seen Sparrowson? How is he? There's no time, monsieur. Good luck.
Are you quite done, Falcon?
Very much so. Let's begin this trial. Oh boy. Okay. So let's remember what the friar said. The friar said the girl was approaching the police line at the time of the shooting. Now, as I recall, the main police line was at the entrance of the Tour in the Place de la Concorde. That's around where we were waiting. But this incident didn't occur there. It was a good 50 to maybe 100 meters away.
So what?
So what? It's a severe discrepancy in the friar's account of events.
Maybe there was a police line there, but it moved. Maybe the friar was mistaken, and it was just a single officer. Does it really matter?
Yes, it matters hugely. It impacts how we view the narrative of events.
How exactly? Elaborate.
Well, if it were just a single police officer, then it would be a more private confrontation, and, well, yeah.
Sarah Falcon, I don't buy it. An innocent being killed by a policeman is an innocent being killed by a policeman. The friar got some details wrong, but the overarching crime remains. We must stay focused on that.
Another question about the Malik's line? No. Oh, that's something else. Frau Remus claims that the inspector drew his gun. Madame, what caliber is the inspector's weapon?
What caliber? I don't have the faintest.
15 millimeter. Ah, fuck. 15 millimeters. That's standard caliber for a gendarme pistol. And what caliber was the bullet found in the mademoiselle? Well, I can't be sure because the bullet fragmented, but it looks to be between 13 and 17 millimeters. I'm afraid that's the most accurate measurement I can make, given the circumstances. If the bullet were 17 millimeters in diameter, then it wouldn't fit in the inspector's 15 millimeter gun. That would immediately free the inspector of all guilt.
It certainly would if the bullet were 17 millimeters, but Von Sane just said that the bullet was between 13 and 17 millimeters. That's quite a large range.
But if it were 17...
If it were 13 or 15, then the inspector's gun would only be confirmed further. You're holding onto a shred of hope that the bullet is actually 17 millimeters, but you lack any real evidence. Let's move this along.
No. We should be asking why the girl would do such a thing. It shouldn't make any sense.
Perhaps she wanted to hurl insults at the police. Perhaps she just wanted directions. I have no idea what her intentions were, but in any case, her death... fuck.
Blah, blah, blah. Let's talk about the victim. What was her name?
We don't know. Nobody knows. Just one more nameless girl stamped out under the boot of tyranny.
That's tragic.
Very much so. And I want to see a world where it never happens again.
Okay. This is not working.
Frau Remus claimed that the girl was shot point blank in the chest.
The girl was clearly shot in the back.
I know. I remember seeing the bullet wound for myself.
But that's quite a glaring inaccuracy of the wolf's testimony.
It is an inaccuracy, but it is an irrelevant inaccuracy. Does it really matter if the girl was shot in the front or the back? Either way, a girl died in this pig's hands.
It does matter. If the girl were shot from the front, then this might indicate a police confrontation turned ugly. But if she were shot in the back, then what? This could indicate that someone targeted and assassinated her before she could even react.
That doesn't paint the inspector in a particularly flattering light, Falcon.
Madam, you're missing the point. A shot in the back breaks the currently established narrative. The girl was targeted and murdered in a stealthy professional attack. Therefore, this was not an ordinary police confrontation.
You've made an assumption, Falcon. You've assumed that, just because the girl was shot in the back, she must have been stealthily killed. There are other possibilities. Perhaps the girl was scared by the police, started running away, and was shot in the back as she fled.
That scenario isn't possible. If the girl were running away, then she would have been at least a couple of steps away from the killer at the time of the shooting, right?
Right.
But I know that the killer was standing right behind the victim. They were less than 1 meter apart when the gun was fired.
They were standing that close? How could you possibly know that, Falcon?
We saw a bloodied handprint on the girl's shoulder. What do you make of that, madame?
Well, I assume a bloody stain would belong to the victim. A mark made with the girl's dying breath, perhaps?
No. It was the print of a left hand on the girl's left shoulder, near her upper back. The angle and positioning of the print indicate that it could only have been caused by another person. That's why I'm so certain the killer was right behind the girl at the time of the attack.
I see, that's quite a theory. But Falcon, you've left an important question unanswered. Why was the handprint bloody? The print was made with the victim's blood, yes? So it can't possibly have been made prior to the shooting. The killer must have wiped his hand on the girl's clothing after she had already died. And if that's the case, then my suggested scenario is still possible. The girl may have been running from the police when she was shot.
No, I'm still trying to work out the details. But I know that the print was made prior to the shooting. Maybe the shooter was injured, and his hand was already covered in blood.
You talked big about breaking the established narrative, and now you present me with this baseless drivel? Well, where do we go from here? How does this handprint nonsense really affect this situation? Hey, do you find something funny about this situation, Inspector? I do. This trial is patently absurd. It's an animal court through and through. But there was something particularly funny about that last exchange. You were both so focused on when and how the handprint was made that you missed a larger issue. I don't have a left hand, you idiots. Oh, I couldn't possibly have left that mark.
Oh, right, of course. Well, madame, what do you say to that?
Maybe the handprint came from an accomplice, or maybe it had nothing to do with the incident, or...
It feels good to see someone else is speculating wildly for a change.
Okay, fine, I don't have a solid explanation. I must concede that it's possible, maybe even likely, that the person who left that mark was the murderer. Therefore, as it pains me to say it, I must concede that the inspector did not shoot the girl.
So that's it. The inspector's off the hook.
No, there's still the matter of the incident at Les Halles. What incident is this? I know nothing about it. Ha! As if you don't know. A beggar rat was shot and killed in Les Halles a few days ago. The attacker was described as a scowling police officer who wore an eye patch. Eye patch. Sound familiar to you? Go on, Falcon. Explain the pig out of this one.
Until 5 minutes ago, I was at a loss. But I was recently presented with a piece of evidence that makes the answer all too clear. This was a false flag operation.
False flag? Explain yourself, Falcon.
Madame, what do you know about Remus's twin brother, the man known as Romulus?
Not much, only that he was forced to flee the country by our oppressive government around a month ago.
That's a half-truth, madame. You see, it is correct that Romulus is being hunted by the police, but I've had the suspicion that the wolf was lurking in Paris itself, although I never managed to find definitive proof of this. Anyway, it turns out that my suspicion was well-founded. He was recently apprehended, I think.
You think?
I don't know the details, but it doesn't matter. What's important is that a reliable friend found this on Romulus's person just moments ago.
An eye patch.
Romulus has perfect vision. Why would he need something like this? There's only one plausible explanation. It is part of a disguise, something to conceal his identity and make him appear as someone else.
A disguise? You're saying that Romulus shot the bigger rat? Just to frame this police inspector?
Exactly, madame. It's no coincidence that Friar Remus happened to find the very same inspector just as another murder occurred today.
So, Remus was in on it too. Two wolves working together to make this policeman look like a murderer. But why? Why would they do that?
To rile you up, madame. To make you lust for violence. And if your actions today are anything to go by, I would say that they succeeded.
Damn, I've been so stupid. How did I let myself get so misled by a couple of wolves? The trial is over. Go, Inspector. You're free. It's about time. You're letting him walk away, ma'am. Of course.
It would be criminal to confine an innocent man any longer than necessary, even if the man is a bitter, stubborn pig. Falcon. Yes? I don't understand you. You're stupid, you're reckless, but you fought beacon talon for my freedom. I'm starting to suspect that you really aren't the Viridian killer after all. It certainly took a long time to pass that fact through your thick skull. Inspector, if you're still hunting that villain, maybe you should speak with Bernard Vulpes. When this is all over, I mean. I hear he's been doing some research into the Viridian killer. Maybe he knows something. Maybe I will. Madame, it appears that your gang of rebel filth don't intend on assaulting the palace anytime soon. I'll relay that information to the artillerymen. Maybe we can keep a peaceful standoff going until this blows over. Thank you. I appreciate that. All of you, stay out of trouble. So, what happens now, ma'am? We are going to continue our protest peacefully. We're going to stand here chanting and shouting until the Prime Minister and the King both step down out of sheer humiliation. It might take days, weeks, but if we manage to change this country without one more person being harmed, then... Well, look who... look who returned. Madame, I just saw the police inspector strolling out of here unharmed. Why did you let him go? That's simple, Ramos. We all had a discussion. And we came to the conclusion that I had been misled by a couple of wolves. Oh? How many lies have you fed me, Friar? Just how much damage have you done to further your own goals? Did you help your brother kill the beggar rat in Les Halles? Did you watch the girl die by the Place de la Concorde? Now that I think about it, even the Croque Monsieur's death was surrounded by details that made little sense. I don't know what to think anymore. You know what? This guy's a scumbag, at least, ma'am. I say shoot him. Pierre was right. We won't judge you for killing this man, madame. It's the least I deserve for my sins. Go ahead, madame. Ooh, this motherfucker. What are you waiting for? Pull the trigger. Do it. Falcon, you have proven yourself as having clear judgment. What do you say? Madame, you know what the right thing to do is. Show us what kind of leader you wish to be. You're right. I said that this would be a bloodless revolution, and I can't make any exceptions. Not even for a monster like this wolf. Wow, this is amazing. Completely unprecedented. You've bucked all of my expectations, avoided every temptation, and opted for an option that shouldn't even exist. Well done, madame. Well done, Falcon. You have demonstrated the power of pacifism in its purest form. But unfortunately for both of you, I'm no pacifist. Everyone, get down! Ah, shit. Suicide. Shooting himself in the head. What a loony. Hardly a surprise that the wolf would be too cowardly to face a real punishment. This isn't right. It's not the solution I wanted either, Falcon. But I can't say I'll mourn the friar's death. No, that's not what I meant. I meant that it doesn't make sense for him to kill himself so abruptly. And that comment of his, it was almost like... I think we need to get out of here. All of us, right now. Falcon, what are you talking about? Ah, that was a gunshot. Really close, too. I can't afford to hesitate. It's me or them. Officer, hold your fire. No way. I can't afford to take chances. It's me or them. Ah, shit. It's me or them. Fire over cannon. Well, we tried.
Can anyone hear me? Bureau Fontaine? Hello, anyone?
I'm here, madame.
Falcon? Of all the people. I think I made a mistake, Falcon. Where did I go wrong? Was it when I lost my temper over seeing that dead girl? Or was it earlier when I shot that prosecutor? Or was it earlier still when I first listened to that monster's fire in the first place? I've made a lot of mistakes.
We've all made mistakes, madame.
Most people's mistakes don't spark bloody revolutions.
Can you move, madame?
I don't think so.
Give me a minute. I think I can clear some of this rubble. A new day. Oh boy. Dear Monsieur Velpus, I am writing to you from the Nemau Railway Express. Modern technology truly is amazing. I've decided to take your advice and I have gone on vacation until things settle down. The king fleeing to Britain, the Second Republic taking over, it's all crazy stuff. Anyway, before I left, you asked if I knew what happened to Falcon. Well, I got my hands on a copy of the official police report, and it says that Falcon died during the attack on the barricade. Fuck. But it also says the police didn't find a body. Same as Leone Beaumart's. Weird, huh? Rumor is that he was probably blown away by cannon fire, but that doesn't sound right to me. The Falcon I knew was tough and intuitive. I think he found a way to escape and survive. Oh, okay. So, in my opinion, he's still out there. It's possible, isn't it? Anyway, I should wrap this letter up, because I'm about to reach my stop, Vienna. I'll let you know how Mademoiselle Signy and her parents are doing. Maybe you should come pay a visit sometime. Send my regards to Mousy. Yours sincerely, Sparson. P.S. I see a person selling... What is it? P.P.S. Delicious. That's what.
Well, we started a revolution, y'all. We done fucked up. We did our best, but we done fucked up.
Good game, though. But we fucked up. Oh well. Alright. Well, as the credits play out, thank you for watching the series. It's been fun. Yeah. We fucked up. Yeah. We may return and see the other endings at some point, but not too soon. But anyway, again, thank you all for watching. We'll see y'all next time. YouTube, have a good day. We're done with you. Thanks again. See you in the next one.